Dear ones, I am Archangel Michael. Continuing the topic I started yesterday. No, don't wait here, for me to comment on all the symbols that exist in your sacred geometry. This subject is quite extensive and a bit complex, even to understand. For those who want to know in depth what I talk about, there is a lot of material available for you to take a look at. No, there are not many absurdities. A lot has already been said and a lot is correct. The basis of all symbols, we can say, is what is called flower of life, which is the overlapping of several circles, forming intersections that resemble flower petals. From then on, many symbols were created. As I mentioned yesterday, the most enigmatic is that of Metatron, Metatron's cube. Looking at it in a flat way, it does not resemble a cube, but if you look for the three-dimensional shape, you will notice that the overlap of several polygons forms Metatron's cube. This activation of Metatron's cube has already been mentioned by me. For those who did it, what's the difference? Let's say this cube remains. After activating it in your bodies, it is as if you were protected inside a box, it is as if you are completely protected from the outside world. I'm going to draw a parallel with my mantle. You put on my cloak, and it doesn't come off, he is there, only the strength with which it attaches to your body depends on each one's vibration. So, as you go through n moments of imbalance, my mantle practically disappears, because as your vibration drops, it also practically disappears. If you vibrate high again, if you vibrate light again, the mantle is replaced. So, there is no need for you to keep replacing the mantle. The mantle is there. So that you can have a practical understanding of what I'm talking about, it's as if the cloak becomes invisible, and as the light grows within you, the cloak takes shape again, but he never leaves there, just the more invisible it is, the less strength it has. So, when you want to reactivate the mantle, just vibrate light, and be grateful for having the mantle, my cloak, on their backs, on their bodies. So, when you want to reactivate the mantle, fill yourself with light and say, "Thank you Archangel Michael for having your mantle." Just that, and the cloak automatically recomposes itself, and protects them. So you don't need to put it on all the time, it is there, it just may not have the function fully installed, due to your vibration. Likewise, Metatron's cube. When you activate the cube, it doesn't disappear and return, and you need to activate it at all times. No, in the same way as my cloak, when you want to activate the cube, fill yourself with light and ask for the protection of the cube. Archangel Metatron, may your cube protect me from everything and keep my energy intact. The cube is now activated, and you are fully protected. So as you can see, it is an extremely potent symbol, extremely powerful. We can mention other symbols, which many of you have already seen in photos circulating on the internet. Perfect symbols that are drawn on your plantations, which you call crop circles. Much was said, much was speculated, but everyone always knew that these symbols were not made by anyone here on this planet. But no one has ever seen a ship doing anything. Nobody has ever seen how this is done. Of course not, because this is done in a higher dimension, and then projected here, onto your surface in the third dimension. Don't expect a spaceship to stop on top of a plantation, and throw lightning over the plantation and everyone sees what it is doing. I can make an analogy with a very simple thing that you have here on your planet, called a stamp, in which you force that figure, and it is stamped on the paper. It's more or less the same thing. That is not done at that moment, that is assembled in another dimension and passed through astral projection here. So you will never see the time for it to be done. It will just appear out of nowhere. Ready? Only that. It's like a big stamp, invisible, which when touching your third-dimensional soil becomes visible to you. That has always been the case. What do these circles mean? Very well, these are small portals that are being opened in various parts of the planet. Why don't they appear all over the planet? Because there are the right points for them to be placed. There are exact coordinates for the entry and exit of energies and beings of light. So there is a large portal there. Very soon you will have access to much more information than you have today regarding these circles. All your governments know where that comes from, everyone, without exception, but nothing is said to you, but that's another topic, not part of our video today. So, back to symbols. Throughout the centuries and times, you have always observed in your caves, the symbols made by your ancestors. Many different languages than the ones you use today. In the past, there was no written language as you know it. It was all symbolism. Through the passage of time, as I have already said, and I will repeat here several times, enlightened people arrived on this planet to develop you, so that terrestrial civilization could be developed. And then you started to evolve in many ways. But the symbolism has existed for a long time, and everything is very well orchestrated. We're back to talking about the pyramids. That is a symbol, a great symbol of power, because at a certain point in that pyramid, there is such a concentration of energy that you cannot even imagine, capable of keeping a living being, not alive, but maintaining the structure of that outfit, for a long time, without the degradation that exists when you lose that human outfit. So a lot has already been discovered and not explained. But you are already beginning to understand that nothing is that mysterious, everything has an explanation. The tips of the pyramids are receptacles for very powerful energies. So everything inside receives much greater energy than what is around it. So it's not very complicated for you to understand why certain things happen. The symbols you have, statues, all come from the past. Everything comes from the creation of your planet, from the origin of civilizations, but I'm not going to go back to that subject anymore. This matter has already been discussed. We are talking here about sacred symbolism. So, returning to the subject I had said yesterday, that we were going to talk about soul, symbolism and the soul. Yesterday I said here that Merkaba, it is the representation of your soul. Many didn't understand. Many were thoughtful, as this was not what they knew Merkaba was. My brothers, understand the following, everything that is part of the soul, is soul. I'm not too concerned here with following exactly the things that have been told to you. I already said, your soul is created, it goes through several stages of evolution, but it is also subdivided, and each point, each little piece, remember the octopus figure, is spread throughout the universe, so that each one follows a trajectory. What's the point of this? Why does the soul have to subdivide itself? Think about the following, if the soul were just a single piece, and it was, according to what it has already lived, in those first dimensions, as I have already explained here too, she was a lazy soul, who did not want to evolve, everything is fine for her. Remember, each soul responds to the environment in its own way, none are the same as the other. So it would be that soul that everything is fine for her, everything is calm, doesn't want to do anything, and would stay there forever. So what's the point in dividing the soul into several pieces? As there are many, each one has a stance, everyone has a path, and it's as if there is a part that is always the one most interested, most studious, in evolving. So the more the pieces evolve, they give no choice to the pieces that are further down, make them evolve too. So no one stands still. All the pieces, within their medium and time limitations, evolve. So this way is the soul. Many learnings. What would be the point of a soul having a single piece, in a single place, in a single environment, always experiencing the same thing? What would she learn? Everything related to that environment. But if the soul has several pieces, each piece is in a different environment. Some are in unevolved environments, some pieces are in highly evolved environments. So what causes it to happen? May this soul gain knowledge, gain intelligence. So they are souls that often, some pieces, are already in very high dimensions and bring all that knowledge to the other pieces. Then suddenly someone, I'll give you an example here in your third dimension, has a brilliant idea, an idea that no one had ever had, those ideas like that, which transform the world, those ideas that make the world evolve. Where do these ideas come from? That's exactly how they happen. These are future times, higher dimensions, which are experienced by pieces of that soul, and are brought to all the other pieces, who do not yet know that. And great ideas emerge. It's my brothers. Everything is very well orchestrated and planned. When we want a being to do something very important on its planet, this soul is guided on what to pass on to the other pieces, so that it causes an evolution. Everything is very well monitored. Each evolutionary point in each environment, on each planet, is very well monitored, and the right souls have this role. Everyone has the possibility of being an important soul, as you like to say, a soul that brings knowledge and that brings evolution. There is no separation of souls. This would not be a stance from our Father or Mother God. Privileges? No, they do not exist, there are no privileges on our part. There is recognition of the effort of each soul. You, as a soul, seek evolution. This is the meaning of each soul, to evolve. So, many try very hard. Many give everything they can to evolve. Remember, when a soul thinks about evolving, it doesn't just think about itself, she thinks of the whole, how it can be important for the whole, and it makes where to develop, the whole. So this is all observed. This is all analyzed, and when a soul strives to act in this way, it is chosen to bring these ideas back to those lower dimensions. The ideas that will make that medium evolve, that means overcoming a great difficulty. Imagine for yourselves what the discovery of electrical energy was like in your world. What evolution did this bring to your planet? I think it was a great revolution, because machines could be created, means of preserving food could be created, which you didn't have, your communications, and so on. So this is how some beings receive this information from higher dimensions. It is the very pieces of this soul that are up there, sending information to those below, so that they can be a point of evolution in the world. But what does all this have to do with symbolism? Many may ask, these pieces, can they move between dimensions? For example, you will evolve into the fifth dimension. Normally, this is not done in the physical body, this is done by the soul, not the physical body. What is happening here on this planet is a very pioneering moment in the universe. But that is another subject. So how do souls migrate from one dimension to another? Yesterday I spoke about the Merkaba, that it was the representation of the soul. Yes, every soul has its Merkaba. It's like a protective cover for the soul. So it is part of the soul. So, if it is part of it, it is part of the soul. Whoever searches will find the figure of Merkaba. There are two inverted and interspersed tetrahedra, and the soul stays inside and wanders between the dimensions. Oops, does the soul walk between dimensions? This information is new. How do you think? Many times, you who have been to Arcturian ships, Pleiadian ships, how did you get there? Your souls are protected within the Merkaba, and you are taken there. It's not astral projection, your soul goes there. So, how to protect your soul in this transition? Remember, you are in Tercera, the ships are in fifth. How do you get there? Therefore, protection is necessary, so that your souls do not suffer this frequency change, and the Merkaba itself is responsible for balancing the frequencies of the soul, with the environment. So this is how you move between here and other dimensions without your soul suffering any type of change. Let's go. without that piece of the soul suffering any type of change, because the soul is the whole. Each piece of the soul is in a different dimension. So how to transit between dimensions? Through the Merkaba, which is the body of light that you have. So he is part of the soul, that's why I said yesterday that he is the representation of the soul. The soul cannot live without the Merkaba, it is not something that the soul gains when it wants to move, no, it is the light body of the soul, so it is also part of the soul. Very good. So, little by little, you are understanding the importance of certain things for your souls. When we talk about the energy grid, as has already been said here, the Dark Ones created an energy grid around Gaia, blocking the entry of energies from the central Sunday. What does this grid look like? What do you imagine this grid to be? If it prevented the entry of energies from the central sun, what do you imagine that would be? Something like a sieve? Of course not. It's as if you were inside a big closed ball. Of course, this ball didn't stop you from seeing the sunlight, otherwise you would discover what was right up there. But everything was closed, why couldn't you see? Because it was not a grid in the third dimension, it was a grid in a higher dimension. So you didn't see it. When we said that we already destroyed this grid, did you see anything happen? Of course. This was done above, where the ships are. Do you see the ships? No, you don't see it, because they are in the fifth dimension. So my brothers, symbols serve forever, to be the starting point of something, being the point for creating something, which can be good or bad, it doesn't matter. Using the symbols correctly gives you, I won't say powers here, but it can often bring you protection and balance. Some holistic therapies use symbols to access the energies in the astral, and those symbols have the power to attract the energy and make it possible for it to be used. Anyone who knows a little about the history of the Pleiadians knows that they love symbols, and each symbol they make has an intention, it has a function, which if used correctly, is a very powerful symbol. Each stellar race has its symbols. There are ways of using this type of device to generate a point of energy, to create a portal, to concentrate energy, however you want. I'm here reinforcing this subject a lot, because you need to be very careful, you need to be very attentive to what you carry in your bodies, to the symbols you see, to the symbols that you look at. Ah, this is cute. I'm going to put it on my bedroom wall, and he doesn't even know what that means. So I want to warn you a lot about this. Careful. Be careful with the symbols you use. Be careful with the things you draw on your bodies. Be careful with the things you put on the walls of your homes. This is serious, my brothers. This is very serious. Be attentive to everything. The moment is one of great attention, the time is for discernment. It is up to each one of you to do a work of discovery, of interiorization, a work of knowledge of your soul. I have told you here that the veils are falling, that you will remember a lot. Many of you have been here a long time. They had many lives. When we say that you will remember everything, do not expect you to remember each of the incarnations, because it would be a collapse for your minds. That's a lot of information for a single moment. So exactly what will you remember? Of what was important to your soul, of what were the important moments for your soul. Those moments that made a difference to your soul, especially you will remember the moment you arrived here, why you came here. This is the most important moment of your souls. This moment has to be very clear in your minds, so that you don't repeat it, so that you can truly fill your chest and say, I have learned my lesson, and follow your soul on its evolutionary path. Don't allow that to happen again. Many of you, after I placed that luminous ball in your heart, are having many dreams, dreams that you do not understand. I already explained, it's a big puzzle, and as the energies arrive and this little ball increases, you will have access to more information. So, my brothers, pay attention, pay extra attention. Every time the moment approaches, everything is being prepared to disorganize. No, they haven't given up yet. They know they lost. They no longer have any illusions of winning this battle. She's already lost, but they won't give herself up. They just haven't destroyed the planet yet, because we are, first of all, destroying their weapons, because this was their idea. Since we can't stay here, no one will stay here either, because we're going to destroy the planet. No, they won't. That's why nothing has happened yet, that's why so much caution, that's why, what you call delay, for us it's not delay, for us it's improvement. Be careful with the things you see out there. Nothing that is appearing in your skies is real. This is another maneuver, for what purpose? The aim is to place these images in the sky and make something bad happen down here, so that you can connect one thing to another. So be careful, don't be fooled by this kind of thing. If we have to appear in your skies, we will appear, we will not be just figures or drawings, contours. If we have to show up, we will show up, we will put on our human clothes, so that you can see, because each of us has a human clothes, to appear when necessary. So, be very careful with what you see. Be very careful with what you receive. I'm not talking about symbolism here for nothing. There is a reason, there is a reason. It's a warning to all of you. Be careful with symbols, no matter how innocent they seem. Do not use anything that you do not know, don't use anything from sources you don't know. Be alert, very alert. I know very well why I'm saying this. Protect yourselves. If you haven't activated Metatron's cube yet, do so. Who hasn't put on my cloak yet, put it on. Protect yourselves. Protect yourselves. My brothers, difficult times ahead, times of truth, but also a time of many lies. So, ending today's video, once again I'm going to mention that figure, those sitting on top of the wall, with their little leg dangling. Choose a side. Get off the wall. Whoever chooses this side, know that they will have difficult paths ahead, as you will be put to the test at all times, of your trust and faith in what is said here. Not just here, what is said on many other channels, which are spreading the messages of the beings of light. Whoever is on this side, believe what you hear. Don't be put off by the things that will be said and shown. Stand firm. Be ready. When doubt hits your chest, shout out loud, Archangel Michael, show me the truth, and I will show. Call for me at all times, and I will be there, and I will show you the truth. I am Archangel Michael. I'm getting more and more excited about all the changes that are coming, and I want to share this excitement with all of you, but with the certainty that you believe in me, completely.